There, you Awakening Wonders. Obviously, it's been an extraordinary and distressing week, and I thank you very much for your support and for questioning the information that you've been presented with. By now, you're probably aware that the British government have asked big tech platforms to censor our online content, and that some online platforms have complied with that request. What you may not know is that this happens in the context of the Online Safety Bill, which is a piece of UK legislation that grants sweeping surveillance and censorship powers, and it's a law that has already been passed. I also don't imagine you've heard of the Trusted News Initiative. Now, as is often the case when a word like trusted is used as part of an acronym to describe an unelected body, trust is the last thing you should be offering. The Trusted News Initiative is a collaboration between big tech and legacy media organisations to target, control, choke and shut down independent media organisations, like this one. We'll be talking about that on our show on Monday on Rumble. But just to give you an idea of what the TNI is, this is a quote from one of their spokespeople. Because the actual real rivalry now is not between the BBC and CNN globally, it's actually between all trusted news providers and digital platforms. It's clear that these organisations collaborate in constructing narratives, whether that's around the war or the pandemic, and of course there are other examples. And it's very clear to me that we have to be very, very cautious indeed. That's why I'm asking you to follow me on Rumble. Rumble have made a clear commitment to free speech, and Rumble is the primary platform that we will be streaming from. We'll be back this Monday, and as usual, we'll be talking about deep state and corporate collusion and how ordinary democracy is anathema now, how it's shut down, ignored and avoided. We'll be talking about a military-industrial complex that is able to facilitate and start wars that seem sometimes to be little more than money laundering operations. And that's with all respect to the hundreds of thousands of victims of the numerous ongoing wars in the world at the moment. We'll be talking about the role of Big Pharma and how Big Pharma have been able to influence government policy around the world and how they've been able to evade due liability and necessary scrutiny, how they've been able to avoid media investigation that perhaps ought be due them. And of course, we'll be talking about media corruption and censorship. So please follow me on Rumble, because that's the only way that we can keep our voice. You can go to rb.rumble.com to support me directly and keep me and our channel independent. And I need your support now more than ever, and more than I ever imagined I would. So follow me. Support our channel if you can, if it's within your means. But more important than any of that is that you please, if you can, stay free. Hello there, you.
Wow, you guys. So Russell Brand has spoken, literally dropped the video at 5 o'clock, close of business. Addressed none of the claims of the victims, accusers, and talked about pretty much him needing his supporters and viewers and audience's support, and that he's moving everything over to Rumble. He was already on Rumble, but that is going to be his primary platform. I feel like I'm doing my hands like him now because I just watched his video, but I talk with my hands anyway, so I understand. But everything's going over to Rumble because YouTube has taken away his money. They're literally pretty much deplatforming him, demonetized him. These news organizations and this corporate media collusion, they have written letters to TikTok trying to get his money taken off from there. They're serious. Okay, so I kind of want to watch it again because the first time I watched it, you don't take as much in what you're hearing, what you're I got the gist of it, but I want to get the nitty gritty. I want to hear what it is exactly that he's saying and take it in, process, and understand. What I do know is he did not address anything from his first video. It is very much about the fact of the media, the people higher up who are pulling the little strings and make this world go round and make it happen the way, make it run the way that it runs, as fucked up as it is. He's talking about that. He is saying that he needs his audiences and his supporters' help now more than ever. He is very much doubling down on the fact that this is a concerted effort by the media and all like the entities that are like running this country, big pharma, you know. When you start talking about that stuff, they want to shut you down because they don't want all of us to get hip to what the fuck they're doing. Now, I do definitely understand the narrative, how these news groups, media outlets, they get together and say, this is the narrative we're going to run because they're getting instruction from somebody higher up than even them. And they go out and they run this narrative, and that's just what it's going to be. They did it with the Ukraine war, apparently, like he said, and they did it like with COVID. We know. And before the Johnny Depp case and everything, I never really watched the news because it depressed me. I'm not a big news watcher now. My news pretty much comes from social media. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I definitely don't get my news from sitting down and watching like fucking CNN or Fox or NBC or what have you. It's just never been my thing. I typically get my news from social media, TikTok, regular people who know what's going on and are getting sources and insight on what's happening, and I take it and try to digest it and make whatever makes sense for me. You know what I mean? And I saw, oh my God, with going through the whole Johnny Depp trial, how they tried so hard to spin that narrative that Johnny was in the wrong, even throughout the trial, even when he won. It just this year, a whole year later, have the headlines gotten better and been more in his favor. A year later, after he won the trial, because they realized none of that shit made sense and it was literally gaslighting their fucking audience because what they were saying was not true. It was just bold-faced fucking lies, twisted narratives, all of that shit. And I think they were getting called out on it, and I think we need to continue to call out the media. What I find interesting, again, is that he did not bring up these accusations at all. He is going right back to Rumble and his show, Stay Free, on Monday. I know that the views are going to be amazing. Also, this platform, Rumble, is probably going to see an even bigger boost of creators going over to their platform and making content over there versus maybe YouTube. Talking about censorship, because literally deplatforming and demonetizing someone and trying to take down, you know, everything is a form of censorship, okay? You're wanting them to be quiet and shut the fuck up. I just feel like, I know that he has legal. He has to have legal at this point. I just feel like he could have touched on it a little bit at the end and said, you know, we're still I know what we spoke about in my last video, you know, last Friday, a week ago, when I came out and told you everything that was about to happen to me. We will get in touch on that as well. Now I'm like, well, is he going to talk about it on his Rumble, or is he just going to move this boat along like this never fucking happened? It's not a court case. The victims, accusers have not gone to the authorities yet, I don't believe. It was just like the article and everything, which was damaging enough because of everything that has happened and all the repercussions he's gotten from it. And he's asking for support. Like, if you can lend a hand monetarily, like, he's like, send it if you can. You need to go follow it. Like, he is serious. But I feel like it should have been addressed because the claims are like so fucking like, I feel like it should have been addressed, but it's interesting as hell that it wasn't. And so I definitely think now that he has moved and made a move, the other media outlets, you know, Channel 4 Dispatches, Sunday Times, the victims, accusers are going to make a move now too, because they have to, right? Because how do you do all of this, have a whole investigative, you know, situation where you're writing an article and this, that, and other, the person that you're accusing comes out and speaks, doesn't touch on it at all, what do you do? What do you do? I mean, it is kind of fucking genius because I will say this, it is kind of fucking genius, but at the same time, I don't know what to believe. He has not given the evidence or the witnesses that he says he has. Okay, so until I see that, I do not know how I feel. But what I know is this was kind of fucking genius. It was kind of fucking genius. And which is why I guess I see a lot of people like this man. Like, y'all, all my comments are Russell Brand, like, defenders. Like, they're like, do not believe he did this shit. They are very much of the belief that this is a concerted effort by the media to shut him down, to shut him up, because they're talking about things, he's talking about things that they don't want out there, that they don't want us little people to know about, so that we're just not, you know, I don't know, like, France, they will fucking revolt and get their shit together and be all out in the streets. The US, we do it, but we do it in a different way. But, like, if we want to get shit done, we're gonna have to do something. And I feel like the media and the higher ups, the government, they're not liking what he's saying, because he's getting a lot of people to fucking think and think about things in a different way that they don't like. I definitely see that part. But you also need to talk about these allegations, Mr. Russell Brand. I like a 16-year-old telling her to, like, change your name in your phone, taking her on dates, the claim of the R word up against the wall in your LA home. Like, oh, okay, say it's not true, but can you refute it with the evidence and witnesses that you said that you had just last week? It's been a week and you haven't, you know, provided that. So we're gonna, y'all are all about Russell Brand, like, all about him. And I think that he's a smart dude. I think that he's very intelligent. I was watching some of Katy Perry's, and I just saw a video of Katy Perry singing in, like, this blue fit in a bathroom. Anyway, we're going to leave it at that. But a lot of people like Russell Brand. I remember seeing a clip of Katy saying, you know, she's with him and loves him because he's intelligent and he makes her look good. And it was just like a little clip, so it may be a little out of context, but I can kind of get where she was going, because I see that he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy, but I definitely think there's something up. So he says, follow me on Rumble after his video. And then someone posted interesting developments around Russell Brand content being censored and or demonetized on big tech platforms. It raises questions about fairness and selectivity when it comes to platform moderation. Let's put this in perspective. Mike Tyson, who did jail time for R word, has a monetized YouTube channel. Jake Paul, accused on YouTube by a woman, is also monetized. Also, fucking James Charles, who has admitted to his fucking foolishness with minors, is still on YouTube with a fucking platform that is monetized. Okay, if you don't know who James Charles is, you know, I'd rather be in your position to not even know who fucking James Charles is. But if you know, you know. He's still on this fucking platform. And it's right. It's true, because it hasn't gone to a court case, and it has not, you know, been in a court of law, and he hasn't been convicted of anything. So it is a trial by media. It's a trial. I get that. I definitely get it. And I don't think that it is right to shut somebody's fucking livelihood down and to basically silence them before even getting in a court of law. But I am conflicted at the same time, because it really puts a bad taste in my mouth with the claims and accusations and the fact that he didn't come out and say anything. So I'm conflicted. I've been hearing a lot of this, two things can be right at the same time, or two things can be wrong at the same time, whatever the fuck. Two things can be true at the same time. That's what it is. And that's true. It's true. Two things can be true at the same time. Two different things. And that's how I feel about this situation, because they shouldn't have taken his money away like that. They shouldn't have demonetized him like that. I wholeheartedly am hoping that the Sunday Times and the victims are not lying. And I am only saying that they should not have taken his monetization because it has not gotten to a court of law. And that is literally making it seem like someone is guilty or convicting them before even going to court. And if we start doing that, like, where are we gonna fucking be? You know what I mean? Like, anyway, it's a fucked up situation, but Russell, you please address these claims, please. I know you guys think it's a fucking lie, it's a bunch of made up bullshit, a bunch of whatever, but I still don't understand why the Sunday Times and Channel 4 dispatches would put their publication on the fucking line to doctor fucking and make up fucking text messages and to make up all this shit. And what did they pull witnesses out of thin air and said, okay, sit here and make this fucking claim? No, like, is there no truth to it at all? It's completely all lies. I just don't feel that being true. I feel like there's some truth to it, and I feel like that is part of why he did not touch on it in his fucking last video and has not released whatever evidence he has. That and his lawyers. But I'm so fucked over this. Russell, you spoke out about the fake US election and Big Pharma. Now they want to cancel you. You have always been honest about your past drugs and sex addiction and how you have been clean and sober and a true family man. I wish you well. Great to see you. Stay strong and continue your work. Rumble under 100 million daily active users. X over 300 million active users. Focus your energy where it will do the most good. Censorship is never the answer. That's true, because then it makes you then it has people thinking, like, when you try to shut somebody down and silence them, like, at this point of things, it makes people question even more what the real reason is for this all happening at this time. Okay, they shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have done that at all. Innocent until proven guilty. Sending empathy and support. You know, I will definitely be there. So people are going to be tuning in. They're still supporting him. This was posted 38 minutes ago. It was already over 18K likes, over basically 500,000 views. He has 11.3 million followers on Twitter. Like, I did not know Russell Brand had it like that. Excuse me for being fucking ignorant. But let me, I want to kind of listen to it again to kind of try to digest more what he's saying.
Obviously, it's been an extraordinary and distressing week, and I thank you very much.
I can imagine it being... I try to have empathy for a lot of things, and it sucks because I really, 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 really don't know how to feel. Like I said, these people coming out, why would they put their publication out on the line? But then on the other hand, there's all these people like you lovely people and people online who are very much defenders of Russell Brand and don't think that he would do this. And I'm like, I know the media and the government does crazy, wild fucking things to like make things happen or shut shit down. But really to just wholeheartedly make shit up, like saying that there's a medical kit, you know, the text messages and all, like, just to make shit up where none of this is true. Is that what we're saying? We're saying that the Sunday Times and, you know, Channel 4 dispatches made all of this shit up, and that the victims decided that they were just going to make this shit up, which is, I guess, why some of them are anonymous, and decided they were just going to make this shit up and put this out to take down Russell Brand. If that is true, he is going to have a bag, and it's not going to matter that fucking TikTok cut him off or YouTube cut him off. He's going to be fucking rolling in it, because that is defamation to the highest fucking levels of fucking to just make shit up off of somebody. And I'm just I'm so fucking conflicted. I'm so fucking conflicted because he wholeheartedly is refuting it. We have publications who are saying this is true, but Russell hasn't brought forth his evidence. So what the fuck? What the fuck? So let me watch this again. Hold on.
The information that you've been presented with. By now you're probably aware that the British government have asked big tech platforms to censor out online content, and that some online platforms have complied with that request. What you may not know is that this happens in the context of the Online Safety Bill, which is a piece of UK legislation that grants sweeping surveillance and censorship powers, and it's a law that has already...
Okay, so it's a UK online censoring bill. So because I guess he's based over in the UK, there who is really coming after him, and correct me if I'm wrong if I am, if he's not based in the UK, but he's saying that this is UK law, that they have sweeping security and censorship, that they can do this.
Being passed.
And it's a law that's been passed.
You've heard of the trust,
which is not good, because censorship is not, you know, I'm all for freedom of speech. I'm all for saying and thinking whatever the fuck it is that you feel. I'm all for that, and I don't think people should be censored unless you're motherfucking lying, like people we know.
News initiative. Now, as is often the case when a word like trusted is used.
Hold on, let me go back. I missed something.
Of the Trust Safety Bill, which is a piece of UK legislation that grants sweeping surveillance and censorship powers, and it's a law that has already been passed. I also don't imagine you've heard of the Trusted News Initiative.
Trusted News Initiative.
Case, a word like trusted is used as part of an acronym to describe an unelected body. Trust is the last thing you should be offering. The Trusted News Initiative is a collaboration between big tech and legacy media organizations.
So, Trusted News, big tech, and different news media outlets get together and they create a narrative. That's wild.
To target, control, choke, and shut down independent media organizations.
Goddamn.
Like this one. We'll be talking about that on our show on Monday on Rumble.
Y'all gonna be tuning in?
Of what the TNI is. This is a quote from
TIN, the Trusted News Initiative.
Organizations like this one.
Hold on, let me go back so I can look it up later.
Independent media is the last thing you should be offering. The Trusted News Initiative is a collaboration
TNI.
between big tech and legacy media organizations to target, control, choke, and shut down independent media organizations.
I mean, I know it happens. I really, really know it happens. But my God, because they did it so swift. They said that this has been, you know, the investigations behind the scene with the media and Sunday Times, everything has been going on about 3 or 4 years. It came out, and with a fucking swiftness, they shut his fucking ass down within this week. And they have not done that for people who... we won't even fucking go there. They did this within a week. So I see both sides, that yes, it feels like this is a concerted effort, that this was planned, that this TNI, you know, are trying to silence them between the big platforms and the legacy media. I mean, I see it, but I'm also conflicted, y'all, with that bit of the fact, I know it happens because of obviously Amber Heard, but it's coming through a fucking media source. They did a whole goddamn documentary. They said that there's a medical kit. We have this text message, and we have the fact that Russell Brand hasn't come out with his information yet. Yes, I know I keep saying that over and over again, because every time I start to talk in a positive light towards him, I get pulled back because I'm like, hold up, wait, bitch. There were these people that have accused heinous things, and he said that he had fucking evidence for it, and we still ain't seen that shit yet. But I guess he feels like he doesn't need to give his evidence because they're not in a court case, and they haven't taken him to court. So he feels like, why do I need to show anything? I can go on about my life because all you've done is write a fucking article about me and disparage my name. But that's okay. These people who shut me down, I'm going to go over to Rumble and make my fucking money on Rumble. Because I know that they're paying him. And I'm going to pay him probably even more for bringing even more creators and viewers and this, that, and the other. Ooh.
Like this one. We'll be talking about that on our show on Monday on Rumble. But just to give you an idea of what the TNI is, this is a quote from one of their spokespeople. Because the actual real rivalry now is not between the BBC and CNN globally, it's actually between all trusted news providers and digital platforms.
So that means even independent creators.
These organizations collaborate in constructing narratives, whether that's around the war or the pandemic, and of course there are other examples. And it's very clear to me that we have to be very, very cautious indeed. That's why I'm asking you to follow me on Rumble. Rumble.
I don't have Rumble. Like, is it an app, like a YouTube app?
Rumble is the primary platform.
Do I need to be on Rumble? Let me stop.
We'll be back.
I don't even know if I want to be on Rumble. Who's on Rumble?
We'll be talking about deep state and corporate collusion, and how ordinary democracy is anathema now. How it's shut down, ignored, and avoided. We'll be talking about a military-industrial complex that is able to facilitate.
All this shit is stuff the government would really want him to shut the fuck up about. The military,
with all respect to the
money laundering,
hundreds of thousands of victims of the numerous ongoing wars in the world at the moment. We'll be talking about the role of Big Pharma and how
Big Pharma for fucking sure.
For
sure. For sure, Big Pharma for fucking sure. Let me pause this. Big Pharma for fucking sure, because there ain't no goddamn fucking way you can tell me in 2023 you don't got a fucking cure for goddamn motherfucking cancer. Like, there's no way. You could send people to the motherfucking moon, but you don't have a cure for cancer? You could figure out how to send a person to the moon. And I don't even know if that's true, because people think that's a fucking lie. But you can't find a cure for cancer, and you just let all these people fucking suffer and die? Like, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Like, Big Pharma, really. That, because there's so much. There's so motherfucking much. Like, watching my Nana go through her stuff. The bills, you know, that patients have. I can't even go there because it's going to get my heart rate up. But, like, I definitely can see why this shit would bother the TNI. Because they don't want that shit out there. Because, like you guys are saying, he's being a truth teller. And putting, you know, I get it. I fucking get it. And I'm going to try not to fucking repeat myself, because you already know what I'm about to say about the other side of things. But I fucking get it.
To avoid media investigation that perhaps ought be due them. And of course, we'll be talking about media corruption and censorship. So please follow me on Rumble, because that's the only way that we can keep our voice.
Because they shut him down on everything else. He's still on Twitter though, and Elon apparently is a fan. So he ain't gonna get shut down on
and I need
Twitter.
Your support now more than ever, and more than I ever imagined I would. So follow me. Support our channel if you can, if it's within your means. But more important than any of that is that you please, if you can, stay free. Hello there, you awakened.
And there you have it, y'all. There you have it. That is Russell Brand's response. You heard it. Did not reference the victims. Did not reference what he talked about in his last video. Solely talked about his work, his platform, and how pretty much he's being censored as fuck. They're trying to take him the fuck down, and he needs his audiences and supporters' support. Period. So, wow. I love how he did that on a Friday at 5 p.m. Who was I watching that said, you know, that he would probably do something like this? Because that's when, like, all the journalists go home, you know, 5 o'clock on a Friday, everybody's going to fuck home. Ain't nobody worried about shit. You gotta wait till Monday. So if you do it at 5 o'clock on a Friday, when everything's shut down, people gotta scramble. People gotta scramble and get their computers up and shit, because they have been gone for the weekend. So, interesting. Literally, it looked like 5 o'clock on the fucking dot. I don't know where he is. Is he based out of the UK? Is he, you know, in LA? I think he's probably in the UK. I still think about his wife and how she's feeling, because at the end of the day, yes, he's saying that it's all of this and all of that with the media and the TNI, But that doesn't feel good as a wife, as a woman, to know that your man has been accused of X, Y, and Z horrible fucking things, and then you gotta lay in the bed at night. Obviously, you have to know your man and trust your man, and you know that was the man that you married, so you know that part of the man that you married. But does your mind wander? Do you think? Because at the end of the day, do we ever really know somebody? Do we ever really know all facets of a person, or what they want us to know about them? You know what I mean? So I still feel like that would be a hard situation to be in, like for Laura Brand. Anyway, I know what you guys are already thinking. As I've seen the comments, y'all are very on Brand's side. I stand with Brand is what I have seen quite a bit in my comments. I want to see the evidence that he has. Will we ever see the evidence? I don't know. Maybe not, unless they try to take him to court. Then he's going to be like, okay, here's my fucking evidence. I don't fucking know. I don't know how to feel about Russell Brand at this moment, because I haven't seen enough. I've seen one side of things, not the other. He came out after a week, and it wasn't anything to do with what we spoke about last week and the accusations at all. So I am a person who has bias because of my life, being a woman, and I feel like I believe and stand in that way with victims, but I feel like at the same time they should not censor him, because we have a court of law, innocent until proven guilty, but the shit doesn't look good for him, those fucking claims. And I kind of really don't like that he came out in this fucking video and addressed none of that and solely talked about his platform wanting to be supported and go over the fucking Rumble, and we're gonna talk Monday and go right back into, what we've been doing. But I'm sure you guys love it, so let me know your thoughts. Go ahead and rail me down in the fucking comments. That's just how I feel, you guys. Like, I don't know how to feel yet. I really don't. I really, really don't. And I hope that that's okay. I don't know. But let me know how you feel about his latest video and how it made you feel. Has it changed your mind any? Or you still stand with Russell Brand, probably? Or if you were feeling a type of way about him, did this video make you believe him more, have sympathy for him? So just let me know, but I'll see you guys a little bit later. Bye-bye.